And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Loopin for Life, hitting yet another coaster dive today to Central Florida's Universal Studios Orlando to check out the once flashy, in-your-face, wonderful soundtrack boosting roller coaster, and now it's kind of a pile of bolts and metal. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to Hollywood, Rip Ride Rockit.
Yeah, they mercy killed that pile of bolts. Thank fucking God. I've seen sturdier engineering in a dollar store shopping cart.
Some fans were upset that it's gone. Others are extremely happy about the future. I know for one, I got very minimal airtime on that, and it always was a bumpy ride. I had good riddance.
Exactly. The best soundtrack was just the sound of it collapsing. Anyway, buckle the fuck up. Let's try to enjoy this coaster one last time.
Beneath the flashing lights of Universal Studios, one coaster dared to mix adrenaline with a soundtrack of your choosing. It wasn't just steel and track. It was a jukebox in the sky. A towering vertical lift pulled you straight into the Orlando skyline and then hurled you into twists, dives, and a non-inverting loop that looked impossible to the naked eye. For 16 years, Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit gave riders control of the music, but not always the comfort. Praised for its personality, mocked for its roughness, and remembered for a secret song list whispered among die-hard fans. This is the story of a ride that tried to rock and sometimes rolled a little too hard. Strap in. This is Coaster Dive. Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit. Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit was conceived as Universal Orlando's next thrill icon in the late 2000s, a time when the park wanted something bold and eye-catching in its skyline. Announced in March 2008 under the codename Project Rumble, the concept was simple. A roller coaster where you didn't just ride the track, you rode the music. Built by German manufacturer Maurer Söhne, the coaster was a modified version of their X-Car model, stretched, scaled up, and injected with Universal's flair for spectacle. At a cost of roughly $45 million, construction began in 2008, and the ride officially opened on August 19, 2009. Its stats were impressive. 167 feet tall vertical lift, 65 miles per hour, top speed 3,800 feet of Track A unique non-inverting loop that tricked the eye into thinking riders were upside down. The coaster didn't just offer thrills. Every car came equipped with LED lights, on-ride cameras, and most importantly, personal audio tracks. For the first time, riders could soundtrack their own adventure. It was as much about identity as it was about adrenaline. From the very start, Rip Ride Rockit divided opinion. The vertical lift was undeniably dramatic, hauling riders skyward while blasting their chosen song directly into their ears. From there, the coaster delivered a fast drop, a twisting non-loop, and several camelbacks and corkscrew-style elements. Fans loved the adrenaline of that vertical climb, the interactive thrill of picking a song, the lights and cameras, which turned the ride into a personal music video. But critics pointed out the ride was rough, with sudden jolts that punished shoulders and necks. It offered little airtime compared to world-class coasters of the same era. Elements often felt more like gimmicks than flowing thrills. Some riders called it a unique, must-do Universal experience. Others called it one of the worst coasters in Orlando. Few left without an opinion. The music was the hook and the most defining feature of Rip Ride Rockit. When it opened, riders were greeted with a menu of 30 songs, spanning 6 genres: rock, pop, country, hip-hop, electronic, and even disco made the list. Tracks included classics like I Will Survive, Sabotage, Bring Me to Life, and Glamorous. But the true secret? A hidden playlist. By holding down the ride's song selection button and entering specific codes, riders could unlock dozens of extra tracks, from Rush's The Temples of Syrinx to obscure techno, country, and even classical songs. The secret song list became a rite of passage for enthusiasts. If you knew the codes, you weren't just riding Rip Ride Rockit, you were in on the joke. In August 2023, Universal made a move that shocked fans. The playlist was cut from 30 songs to just 5. Each genre was reduced to one option: rock metal, Welcome to the Black Parade by My Chemical Romance, pop disco, Waterloo by ABBA Country, Man, I Feel Like a Woman by Shania Twain, hip-hop, Humble by Kendrick Lamar, electronic, Sandstorm by Darude. While the hidden playlist remained accessible for those in the know, the official cut frustrated longtime fans. Songs like Hella Good by No Doubt or Glamorous by Fergie vanished from the lineup, and with them, much of the nostalgia riders associated with their first trips on the coaster. To some, it was a minor change. To others, it was the day Rip Ride Rockit died. Rip Ride Rockit had developed a reputation as a love it or hate it ride. Fans praised its skyline dominance, the spectacle of the vertical lift, and of course, the customizable soundtrack. It wasn't the smoothest coaster, but it was one of the most unique. Critics tore it apart for its lack of re-ride value, its uncomfortable restraints, and its failure to deliver strong airtime. Some coaster enthusiasts ranked it among the roughest steel coasters in Florida. And on social media, it was often roasted as a ride you did once just for the novelty. Even so, Rip Ride Rockit became part of the Universal Studios identity. Its massive vertical lift stood right near the entrance, visible across the park. Like it or not, it was impossible to ignore. On December 12, 2024, Universal Orlando officially announced that Rip Ride Rockit would be closing. The final ride was set for August 18, 2025, just shy of its 16th anniversary. As demolition crews prepared, fans flooded the queue one last time, some clutching commemorative guitar picks Universal handed out to mark its final day. For many, it was bittersweet. Some fans said, "Good riddance, one of the worst coasters in Orlando." Others whispered, "I'll miss the charm. I'll miss the secret songs. I'll miss the ride that let me soundtrack my screams." Rip Ride Rockit was gone. Its massive steel frame came down piece by piece, leaving a hole in the skyline where a musical experiment once roared. So, what's the legacy of Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit? It wasn't perfect. It wasn't smooth. It wasn't universally loved. But it was bold. It was different. It gave riders control over their own experience in a way few rides had ever attempted. Its onboard video system was ahead of its time, and its music-driven design would inspire later attractions, like Disney's Guardians of the Galaxy, Cosmic Rewind, where the soundtrack is just as important as the ride. For Universal, Rip Ride Rockit proved that coasters could be more than thrills. They could be performances, personalized for every rider. Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit was never the smoothest ride. It was never the most beloved ride. But it was your ride. A chance to choose the track, climb the lift, and take the plunge into a personal music video played out against the Orlando sky. For 16 years, it rocked, it rolled, it rattled, and it left behind a legacy of laughter, complaints, nostalgia, and unforgettable playlists. Some hated it, some loved it, but nobody ever forgot it. And that's what makes Rip Ride Rockit more than just steel and track. It makes it a story worth diving into. This has been Coaster Dive, Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit. In the end, Rip Ride Rockit was more than a roller coaster. It was a time capsule, a ride that bottled up the energy of the late 2000s, when bigger was better, music was everything, and theme parks were chasing the next great gimmick. Its steel may be gone now, but its spirit lives on in every hidden playlist, still whispered about by fans. and in every memory of riders who screamed their lungs out to a soundtrack of their own choosing. Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit may have left the skyline, but its story will always echo through the park like a chorus you can't get out of your head. That's gonna be a wrap for today's Coaster Dive. Now it's back to the studio with Ryan and Ferris.
And that's going to be a wrap today, guys, into our deep dive into Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit, a ride that used to blast tunes, but unfortunately couldn't outrun its own problems.
Problems? That thing was one giant problem on wheels. It shook harder than you on a bad Tinder date. And let's be real, people only rode it because the wait for Mummy was too damn long.
I mean, it had its supporters, come on now.
Yeah, so does herpes. But at least you can get rid of this. Rip Ride's dead, Ryan's still a fucking nerd, and I need a goddamn beer. Hit the theme song, Ferris out.